Alright, so I've seen a lot of tier lists online. Obviously, tier lists is supposed to be, I guess, not controversial, but everyone's supposed to disagree or agree or whatever, have their own opinions. But the problem I have with them is that everybody does a tier list based on the character at their highest level, and I don't think that's fair. So I want to do a tier list for the average player. Yeah, I think I know most of the player base is, which is online and ranked, and pretty much put whatever characters I think in one of 5 categories: too strong, well-rounded, decent, okay, or needs work. And I think that's as fair as I can make it, and this would be solely based off of one personal opinion, mine and my boy Spears. Hey, hello.
What's up?
Just what we think these characters can do online and against the average player. So, starting off, I'm just gonna go literally in order with this simple select. So, Alisa would actually be first. Alright. Alisa, do you have any initial thoughts on Alisa? I know you hate her.
Well, the simplest way I can describe her is, she makes you play fundamental Tekken while she doesn't really have to. She has great pokes, great ways to get in and open the opponent up. Her chainsaw stance is very difficult to deal with for the average player.
That's true.
Her power crush activates at frames faster than everybody else's.
This one?
Yep.
Or this one?
I don't know which one. I think it's that one. I'll have to look that up. But the only weaknesses I can see is perhaps, if somebody's rushing her down, she doesn't have the best time. But then at the same time, she has a great sidestep with her what do you call, what is that thing? Yeah, not bad. But with her chainsaws out, she can fly to the side.
Oh, this?
Yeah. That is something else right there.
It's a wall bounce too, right?
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, man. But yeah, all in all, I have not had great experiences with Alisa players online. That's all I can say.
So,
I'd say she's pretty well rounded. I wouldn't say she's necessarily too strong, but I think if they fixed her power crush, and maybe some of her chainsaw moves, she'd be easier to deal with than many.
I agree. I think she has really good punishment at all frames. And a lot of her punishment, you hit 1+2, it goes into chainsaw, so she has added pressure there. Defensive options, she's small, like you said, she has good sidesteps, good backdash. She's very easy to use as well. Like you go through remove list, all these are really easy to use, execute. And it's even easier if you have button setup like I do. Super easy. Panic moves. Does she have any panic moves? I guess power crush. Some of these can be panic moves. She has really good frames. She does, I want to say, even better with lag because she's harder to fight against.
Yeah, her sliding mix-ups.
Yeah,
the bar. Oh man, we're done.
+8? That's crazy. Yeah, so I would agree she goes into well-rounded. Alright, next character is Asuka. I think she gets a lot of hate for, I want to say it's not entirely unwarranted because of the type of players that use her, especially at lower ranks like green or yellow. They'll hold this all day. They'll do hell sweeps all day. They'll just throw out moves. And she's very back three. I have a problem with back three. But overall, yeah, she's very... She has a lot of built-in defense. Like even this, high crushes, back three, evades a lot of stuff. Forward two, high crushes. Like she has a lot of evasion, so you can play her very defensively. Forward two goes in forever. This reaches forever. Her power crush is really good, being safe as a high. Her punishment sucks. You want to touch on that?
Her 10 frame punish is a jab. Nobody else has that bad of a 10 frame punish. Everybody has a 1-2 at least. But as you said, very safe character overall. Has a lot of keep out moves such as back three. Her power crush, safe on block. What is that? Man, her rage drive is phenomenal. I would say it's top tier in itself.
Yeah, it does a lot of damage.
You know, she has a shitty can, but that is like the least of her issues. But she doesn't need the can really. Who's worried about that? That's a combo filler of anything. But yeah, overall, you know, not a bad character. I'd say she's well-rounded. Like at top levels of play, any gimmick she throws out, like the parry, not gonna work so well. But yeah, for most online matches, she can get you far.
Yeah, she's very easy to use. Doesn't require a lot of execution. I would put her. Would you put her well-rounded or decent?
I'd say she's well-rounded. Also want to touch on, like, you know, her 10 frame punish is garbage, but her 12 frame punish is pretty good. I think it's 2-3.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good stuff right there. Flips them over.
Yeah, if they don't get up or if they tech, you get the rage drive.
And that is so. Yeah, she has some setbacks, but you know.
Yeah, overall, I agree. I would say she's well-rounded, just because of how safe she is.
Yep.
And even this move, which is highly punishable, not everybody can punish it. Or not everybody can launch punish it, I should say. But there are a lot of scummy Asukas out there. And that's why she gets a bad rep. But there's answers for everything. Like,
yep.
If you expect, yeah, check everything. If you're at minus frames, check everything with the elbow or knee. Like my main's Claudio, so I always check her with back three. But yeah, overall, very well-rounded. Alright, next character, Bob. Personally, I don't think my highest rank is Yakuza. You're still Emperor, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think I've seen a Bob since probably red ranks.
Ooh.
I don't see him a lot. So I don't have a lot of experience, but just watching tournaments and stuff, I know what he's capable of. But just online, for the ones that I do remember, this move comes out a lot, which is launch punishable. A lot of jumping stuff, a lot of rolls. They always go for the hell sweep option. Oh, what is this hell sweep? 1+2. 1+2. This is homing, correct?
I believe so.
Homing hell sweeps are always a problem. I do remember that. But overall, Bob is very unsafe. So as long as you're patient against him, it's not that difficult. I would say personally, in my experience, it's not hard to beat him if you just play patient. But if you start pressing buttons, he hurts.
Indeed.
His punishment's good, easy to use for the most part. He has wave dash, but what is it? How many moves out of wave dash? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. So it's not even like Mishima level of execution, I would say, because you don't even rely on those for the most part. But I would personally put him in okay, just because of the fact that the ones I fought against, it might have just been because of the rank I fought him at. But even recently, when like I've seen one here or there, in purple ranks, like maybe 1 or 2. I haven't seen any in blue. But from what I remember, he's very easy to beat as long as you're patient. But he can rush you down really well. He has a lot of turn stealing moves with Power Crush and a lot of charge up stuff, but overall I think he's just okay. But that's just me. What do you think?
I'd agree. I think you have to be a defensive player to play against Bob. I think if you're playing Bob, being defensive only works against you. He's a rushdown character. All I can say is look out for that belly in ranked.
That's true, yeah.
That thing,
this always comes out. Minus 13. Yeah, that's his 50-50 pretty much, right? Hell Sweep or Power Crush. Because this is slow as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, minus 13. So, he's very unsafe. I wouldn't say a high risk, high reward, but yeah, he's just... he could be a lot better.
He's had his time, though.
Yeah. Next we have Bryan. I absolutely love Bryan. He was my first main I ever picked up. Learning Tekken, he was the first one I learned what punishment was, how to do combos, wall carry, to like change your combos up the ender, to go further into the wall. So either do this one, or shorten it up with this one, or if you're really close, you shorten it with that and the knee. But all in all, I learned a lot with him, fundamentally wise, just how to play Tekken. So I have a soft spot for Bryan. That being said, obviously he's a strong character at any level. Great punishment, great keep out with 4-4-2, 3+4. All the counter hit launchers he has, plus frames. His 50-50 isn't that scary, but it's still, if you get launched by this, it's going to hurt if they know what they're doing. Great damage, great wall pressure, decent pokes. I don't like saying very high execution, but even his punishment. So Bryan kind of, I don't want to say, he bends the rules because all of his general tools, like down forward 1, you have to use down forward 2, or you have this. He doesn't have a hop kick, he has an orbital. He makes up for it with jet upper, but for new players and with lag and online, sometimes it doesn't come out since it's such an awkward input. But the one thing I would say about Bryan is he will teach players that there is a, how do I word this? There'll be a time, like let's say you pick up Bryan, snake edge, you do your combos, whatever, get your damage, you get used to doing this all day, and then you start learning Tekken, whatever, you start doing well, moving up the ranks, and then all of a sudden, you get players that always block snake edge, always step back one, always punish your moves that you throw out that's unsafe. So you have to be very unpredictable. You have to be very cautious of what your opponent's doing. You have to have the execution on deck. And I think he teaches players that there is a line where you're going to hit, where you're going to think that you suck at Tekken, but you really don't. You just have to change your playstyle up and game plan during the match. And I think Bryan is obviously strong, like I said, at any level, but because of the execution barrier and the skill gap that you would need and like the plateau you probably hit using him and the skill required just fundamentally to be good with him, I would put him in well-rounded. I don't think he's too strong because he has a lot of unsafe stuff and he can be predictable, but
I would say the only time he becomes too strong is at the wall, and the Bryan player is an execution god with his taunt stuff. Like, if they can taunt back for you at the wall 10 out of 10 times, he's too strong. Taunt stuff isn't something a lot of online players really know how to like do very well, given, you know, input delay and whatnot, so it's almost like negated in that regard.
I would agree.
Yeah. Other thing is probably his wild rising punishment isn't the greatest.
Yeah. You have 11, 12, 13, no 14, but you have a 15. It's really good, but all of them, like this, doesn't give much. It's +5. What is it on block? -6. So you basically lose your turn if you don't punish with that. This is -10, so yeah, giving up your turn. This can be ducked, and this is launch punishable on block. So yeah, where would you place him?
I would agree. Well-rounded. He's not too strong.
No.
Only way he's too strong is, you know,
With the time, yeah. But again, I never have I seen a Bryan player online at any rank. I've fought a couple that are taking out Bryan that they don't even know how to use taunt, so yeah, he's really good. Alright, so next character, Claudio. My main character. I have, what is it? I don't even know how to explain him. Like, he's very simple, very easy to use. He has the smallest move list in the game. Great punishment, interesting moves with Starburst. Great pressure tools that reach forever, good range, good keep out. Great for being defensive. I wouldn't say he's the strongest offensive, but he does have that, and then second hit, back 3-3, and then orbital, but everything needs to be counter hit, so that's why I think he works better as a defensive character. And obviously, like I said, I've reached Yakuza with him, highest rank I've reached with any character, and I've tried to reach Yakuza with others, but I've only done it with Claudio. Due to the fact that his punishment's solid, his pressure's solid, his defense move is solid. He has some 50-50s with a sidestep 4, sidestep back 1, or sidestep 1+2, 1+2, 1+2. Like I said, good range, but he lacks in the sense that he doesn't have, like, down forward 2 would be his biggest panic move, I guess, because if you're getting pressured a lot, you throw this out, you get a combo. His combo versatility is a lot better than people think, but all in all, you'll probably end up doing the same combos over and over. You do need some execution for running 2, because you don't want to always do it from back here. You want to be pretty close and do it the instant running. So he'll teach players to be defensive, how to apply 50-50 mix-ups into their game plan, conditioning with sidestep 4, how to even use sidestep moves and apply them, and then, like I said, the running moves. But me using him aside, the Claudios I face online are not good. Go
ahead.
For the simple fact that they always thrive all their game plan. You could tell on how they use Claudio and his moves that they are always at the beginning of every round, whatever, they always try and get Starburst no matter what. And that's just not a good idea, because if you get Starburst, you earn it. You keep it for whatever, or if you know they're gonna duck for a second running 2, then you can mix it up again, 50-50s. But a lot of Claudio players, they'll do 4-4-2-2 and they'll finish, so they'll get ducked. They finish 4-3, which is another high, so that get ducked. They'll try and do this all day, which is -14. They do a lot of unsafe moves, even though he can be very safe. So in my experience, a lot of Claudio players, even I've played a couple at blue ranks, and they play like they're in green ranks. They always go straight for Starburst moves. They use it right away. They'll finish strings that are high, and they'll get ducked for it. They always go for hell sweeps right away. It's just, I don't think Claudio is very strong online. I think the player makes Claudio strong, but as a character, I think he's weak. So me personally, I know a lot of people do this and they down talk their character. I'd say for me, he's very well rounded, because he has great tracking moves, great range, great pressure. But the players that I faced using him, I would just put him in decent. Do you have any thoughts on Claudio?
I would agree with your 50-50 mix-ups, especially at the wall. I step 4 and back 1, back 2, whatever. Fantastic at the wall. I would say he does become weaker as sets go on, because people are going to start picking up on all 10 of his moves.
That's true.
And that's up to the player to adjust, to also, adjust his move set, his timing, whatever, to try and further succeed in winning with Claudio. It is important to have instant while running 2 in your pocket at higher level, because if you do it from half away across the screen, it's very telegraphed. Somebody's gonna duck, then you're dead. That's all I can say.
Yeah, so I personally, I would put him in well-rounded, but for the player base that you'll probably find him, you can usually exploit his weaknesses very strong. It's just, he gets fucked up if you can duck 4-3, if you can duck 2-2, if you can punish hop kick. I know it's great and the range is great. You know it's gonna come. Just be patient. You know it's gonna happen. Watch out for hell sweep. But yeah, I would put him in decent just because of the player base that uses him.
I'd agree.
Alright, next character, Devil Jin. I personally have used him in the past. He's my personal favorite Mishima. I'm better with him on the right side just because my electrics are a lot better on the right side. I play on pad, which I know doesn't make sense, but just execution wise, my wave dash is better on the right side. But Spear uses him on the regular basis, so I will have him explain Devil Jin.
So, like, basically all Mishimas, you know, to be super proficient with Devil Jin, wave dash mastery, I don't want to say it's required, but it'd be very, very helpful. Not so much online, but online, oh my god. If somebody's wave dashing at you, you're gonna be stuck and like, oh shit, what's the mix up? But that aside, he has great poking, laser cannon, laser scraper, down 3, down back 2 are some solid lows that track to both sides, you can't step them. And the only issue I'd say that makes those lows bad is at least, well, his down back 2 is minus 13 on block. Though Kazuya can launch punish it. Josie can launch punish it. That's what makes it not the greatest. But it's not the worst, because it tracks to both sides. Down 3, and it's only minus 12 on block, so that's a great low too. It is minus 1 on hit, but still, it's a hit confirmed. You can do something. He has a fantastic hell sweep that combos, you know. Not a thing that was present since, you know, Tekken 5 DR. He's damn near the same characters since DR, aside from combo setups. His wall damage is fantastic with back to 1 Heaven's Gate, delayed laser scraper, and of course 1-2 steel pedal. Great for Oki. He is very gimmicky, you know. He has some great moves such as his Wraith Kick, a forward 4. Even though it was nerfed, you can still get a 50-50 setup. You can steel pedal him if he stays, or electric him if he gets up. The only way to beat that is to, you know, just delay your timing in any way. It's the only way. Also is up 4. Oh my god. Every single person that plays Devil Jin online hates up 4. That move, oof. That move, man. It's tricky to punish. You don't know what the Devil Jin player is gonna hit. But I would say you most likely expect 1 or 2 to come out of it. 2 being that grab. But, you know, all that aside from his great tools, his down forward 1, twin lancers and whatnot, hell sweep, all of that. Execution barrier. Can't be good with him if you don't have good execution. Regardless of what you want to believe, Electric Wind Godfist is one of the best moves in the game. And without Electric Wind Godfist, Devil Jin is not one of the best characters in the game. You need Electric Wind Godfist. It's great for high damaging combos, you know. Great for whiff punishing. But that's not to say that, you know, he doesn't have a backup 15 frame launcher if you can't get that electric out. Can. He doesn't need can, but he has it. So that's what makes him the best Mishima in some people's eyes. I personally think Kazuya's better. We'll get into that later. But yeah, I'm not very good at explaining characters, but he's good. I want to say he's too strong because he's. You know what? Maybe he is too strong. Maybe it's because of his wall damage.
My experience with Devil Jin is all they do is hell sweep spam and up forward 4 spam. They just do
Yeah.
those 2 moves all day, and honestly, that's all they need. Just mix you up with that, catch you with this, you stay down, you get hit. This on wake up is really good as well. But yeah, all they do, hell sweep. Even if they do it max range, they'll drop it, they'll go right into another one.
Yep.
But yeah.
Also at max range hell sweep, you can do a CD3. That'll catch him. That's pretty rough. You know, it's forward 2, Demon Paw, safe farm block, great pushback. At the wall, it's a mess. Cause you know, you wake up at the wall and he hits you with the Demon Paw. There's not much you can do but sit there and wait a second and see what happens. But you know, like I said, if you want to be a fantastic Devil Jin player, wave dashing, or at least having a good knowledge of mix-ups will get you as far as it can get you. That's all I can say.
So we're replacing
like,
him too strong?
For me, like, he's kind of on the bridge of well-rounded and too strong. Because, like, he's very strong, but like, if they took away his up 4, I would say he's well-rounded. I think up 4 is what makes him too strong online. Because you would get murdered for that offline, but online is really good. So, and like, you know, he doesn't have the biggest comeback potential compared to Claudio. You know, his rage drive isn't, you know, fantastic if you block hell sweeps. It's actually very bad. But yeah,
yeah, it's one of the rare unsafe rage drives.
Yeah.
But yeah, for online purposes, since we're basing all this off of that, not at the highest level or offline, I'd say he's too strong. Alright, next character, Dragonov. He is super popular at lower ranks. Honestly, if you play, let's say you do a rank session every single day for at least 2 to 3 hours, I promise you'll probably at least run into one Dragonov. At least one. Any rank, he's just super popular. And the reason for that, we're just gonna bring up a couple moves. He has a lot of good strings. Very fast. And if you don't know them, you're gonna get hit by the last hit and probably counter hit. He has a lot of cancels. He has really good throw game, which give him really good Oki. If you hit back roll, that's guaranteed. He has a 2 break, a 1 break, a 1+2 break. He just has everything. He has crouching throws. I think he has 2 of them. Yeah, that one, yeah. So you have to guess break on that. He has everything. Great punishment, great pressure. Just like Claudio, he can teach players instant running too. Great counter hits, great punishment, while standing, wall bounce, which is fucking broken, but that's a different story. A lot of range, a lot of pressure. But the lower you go in ranks, the more scummy the Dragonov player becomes, because he has a lot of moves, he has a lot of strings. So they try and play him like Nina or Anna, where they just pressure all day. They'll just constantly be in your face, throwing buttons, mixing you up between lows, highs, mids, whatever, everything, throwing, everything. Because he has everything. Very easy to use as well, so that has to do with his popularity as well. But the higher you go, the safer you'll see him become. And when a Dragonov player plays very defensive and keep out and pokes here and there, he can be very, very, very strong. I don't want to say he's one of the characters that carries people. I would say he carries people to a certain rank, and then it plateaus kind of like Bryan, where you have to start mixing up your moves. But unlike Bryan, you don't have the execution barrier. You have a lot of moves to switch from and go through. Just use any different move. How many does he have in total? So 60, not including wall rising. And then including throws and his tackle mix up and his parry, 93. He has a lot to choose from. But a lot of things, if you know the matchup, you're going to see a lot of things happen. Like, you'll probably duck this. You're going to block, you're going to low parry these strings. And you can get a lot of mileage from Dragonov just from punishing if they're overly aggressive. And just like Claudio's running too, not a lot of people have the execution to do it from up close and personal. So they'll either end up with that or 4-4-2, which again, unsafe. So I would say I don't think he's too strong, but he's definitely well-rounded.
Absolutely. Even with that nerf to his down 2, I'd say he still has plentiful tools to get him by.
Yeah, he's really, really good. Next character, Eddy boy. So Eddy, how do you even explain Eddy? Because a lot of people say he's easy to use, which I personally disagree with, because I use him here and there, but I picked him up just to have a crazy character in my roster, and I felt learning the character would help me defend against, which obviously I think it worked. His punishment's garbage. He got this, but it's punishable on hit. He has good moves, great evasion obviously with this and handstand and this little teabag move he has. A side step 3+4. He could just lay down whenever he wants for a free 50-50. His handstand stance is not as strong as Relax, but he has, I don't even call this a hell sweep. This is like snake edge. He has 50-50 from it. He has a safe evasive move. He has a safe backlash move. He has great evasion, like I said before. He's very tricky, but at the same time, he's very unsafe. A lot of his moves can be floated out. For instance, if Eddy player backs up and then runs in, does 3. Eddy probably can't because he's garbage, but a lot of characters can pick him up for a float combo if they block anything from handstand and they don't go into this little dip move you can get floated out of. So he's very unsafe in that manner. His punishment's not that good, but his evasion, his movement, and how crazy he can be and how unexpected he can be kind of makes up for it. I personally had a while, it took me a while to learn him just because of all the transitions he has in the stance and all the moves that can go from stance, like holding forward, holding back, holding down. Like everything has some kind of cancel into relax or handstand. And then from handstand, you have a lot of moves. And from relaxed, you have a lot of moves. From while standing, you have a lot of moves. From crouching, everything. He just has a lot of moves in general. So keeping all of these in the back of your head, yeah, compared to Dragonov, he has 164. I think he's hard to use. I would put him in the category of high risk, or what is it? What's the saying? High risk, high reward.
Yeah, I mean, do you think he gets rewarded for his high risk though?
Yeah, because this is a full combo, gets great wall carry, and really good damage. That's 95. But if you block it, it's launch punishable. You block this, -14, and you can float it. Like, that's why I would say he's high risk, high reward. Me personally, I would probably place him in okay. I think he can be decent, but that would be dependent on the player, not the character. I think the character as a whole and how most players use him online, he's just okay. But he is one of those characters that you have to know the matchup in order to do well against him. So if you don't know the matchup, he gets bumped up really fast.
Yeah. But if you know the matchup, it's an uphill battle for the Eddy player, trust me.
Yeah, so if you know the matchup, I'd put him in decent or okay. If you don't know the matchup, I'd put him in decent.
Yep.
Next character, Feng. I personally have not used him before. I tried to pick him up because I've always liked watching him. I think he's a very interesting character. I think just watching him, he's well-rounded. But this is Spear's main, and he got him to Emperor, so I'll let him explain it.
Hello, most hated Feng player online, coming at you. So, one thing everybody knows about Feng, he has a plethora of moves, each with a specific purpose. And they're all fantastic, if I say so myself, except for some, of course. We're talking about. So, for 10 frame, you got your 1-2 entry. 1-2-3. You can also do 1-2-3 in the back turn for a mix-up if it connects. But I wouldn't, So 1-2-3 back. Or 1-2-2 back. 1-2-2 back. My bad.
Oh, okay.
That's good. That's good if it connects. If it doesn't connect, don't try it. That's your 10 frame punish. But to be honest with you, I prefer doing 1-3 as a punish. Better plus frames. You don't have to give your backup for better plus frames with that, and you can go for a mix-up. That'll be your moves all the way up to 13 frame punishes, which will then lead you to shoulder. Everybody loves the shoulder. If you're not using shoulder, you're not doing it right. And then up to 15 he has a hop kick. Arguably one of the worst hop kicks in the game for its poor range.
I expected that to hit. Holy shit.
Like,
that is bad.
If you think about it, like, if Feng were to try to punish Laws while rising 2, his hop kick wouldn't land, so he has to shoulder punish it. That's how bad it is. But that aside, it's not, gets the job done. He has great pokes, his jab, his down 4. Oh yeah, his down forward 4 is good too. His down 2. See how he's like -12 on block? Don't take that for granted. That's good stuff. My bad, what am I trying to say? Use that all the time, because nobody can punish that on block. Or launch punish it on block. People think you can. See, if you do that and Akazuya twin pistons you, free 10 string, or not 10 string, free 10 frame punish right there. Oh, his back 4 is fish hook. That's a great 12 frame poke. It's -9 on block, and only +2 on hit, but it tracks to both sides. That's his fast tracking poke. His next fastest tracking move would be his forward 1+2, which is 19 frames and a duckable high. So don't want to use that too much. I would say that he has a lot of evasion built into his moves. There's not a soul alive that doesn't like dealing with Kempo. That doesn't not like dealing with Kempo. Oh my god, they hate it. They hate it so much. Because if you can confirm a whiff on Kempo, oh man. That right there, they hate that. He also has a shifting clouds, forward 3+4. That right there, as you get to higher levels of play, you probably want to avoid forward 3+4, but it does parry. So I guess in conclusion, because I don't want to make this too long, you know, he has a plethora of moves. He can whiff punish great. I think online, a lot of Fangs kind of just use the same couple of moves, which I think is a shame because he has a lot of moves. And the more moves you use, the less your opponent will understand how to beat you. I think that's, you know, very important.
So where would you place him?
I would say he's well-rounded. I don't think he's too strong by any means.
I would agree.
There's one thing I will say is that besides his 10-frame punish, he has very slow startup frames. Any of his sidestep moves are at least 15, if not more. I think his fastest is sidestep 2, and it's a high.
Yeah, 15.
But the only upside to those sidestep moves, such as sidestep 2 and sidestep 1+2, is their plus on block, which is that's good. That move right there. Dangerous. I think one day I'd like to do a Feng tutorial.
That'd be good. All right, so yeah, very well-rounded. A lot of moves, a lot of pressure. Really good, especially online. Yeah. All right, next character is Gigas. Oh, Gigas, you need help. All right, so I'm gonna start off with the strengths of this character. One strength of this character, I would say nobody fucking knows the matchup.
Absolutely.
Even if you do, you're not gonna punish things correct. You're not gonna duck this. What is it? 4-2, 1-2. What string is it? Yeah, you're not gonna punish that. You're gonna try and punish that. Not gonna punish that one. A lot of Gigas players love this string because it's plus frames and it's natural hit. But if you know this and you duck that, you get a free launch. Just like if you interrupt this, you get a free launch because it comes out at 41 frames. That's forever for online. 43. This move's really good, but only on counter hit. But going into the good things, one, his range. One of the best jabs in the game, obviously. Probably the best 10-frame punish due to the knockdown and damage it gets. The downside, also going off the good things still, he's easy to use, not a lot of execution required. To do his harder combos, you'd have to crouch cancel to get this screw on some things, but that's like higher ranks. So depending on what rank you are at, Gigas is good to keep out. If you try and pressure him, he's going to be able to keep you out with counter hits and forward 1+2. The downside is he's very unsafe. All of his best moves are very slow. They come out so slow. Down 2 is really good as a whiff punisher, but minus 14 on block. So, like I said, very unsafe, very slow, very sluggish, slow backdash, shitty sidestep. He has a really good 1+2 throw out of stance, and when it hits a wall, it's 70 damage. But if you're honestly fighting against Gigas, you're gonna hit 1+2 every time, because this throw, they're only probably gonna use at the wall to switch sides, even if they think about that, because both of them do it. But you're always gonna hit 1+2, so you're never gonna get. Honestly, if you have the execution of break throws on reaction, you're never gonna hit. But Gigas was supposed to replace Marduk. That's why I have him on the right instead of the mirror. He's easier to use than Marduk, but has the shittier version of all of Marduk's moves. Like down back 2, Marduk has quarter circle forward 2, which again, harder to execute, but +5 instead of +3. Down 2 kind of has the same range as Marduk's down forward 1. Every move that Gigas has that shares with Marduk is a shittier version. So if you like Gigas, you like playing him, whatever, that's all you. But online, fighting against him, he needs a lot of work. And I hate, because every tier list I see puts Gigas at the bottom. I don't think he deserves it, because in the right hands, he can be really good, especially if you don't know the matchup. But regardless, even if you don't know the matchup, he's very easy to figure out, easy to punish. He's just a big target, basically. So I think he needs work. Anything to add?
I mean, just to touch on the down back 2 thing, if you do down or quarter circle forward 2 for Marduk on counter hit, it does like 50 damage, right?
Oh yeah. What is this with him? You just get that.
Just get that.
So 40.
That right there tells you, if you want to use Gigas, just use Marduk.
Yeah, so I would put him in okay. If
really?
He would. Hold on. I would put him in okay if the player doesn't know the matchup, doesn't know how to fight against him, and he's low ranks, just learned in the game or whatever. Because of the damage he can do, but yeah, he needs a lot of work.
He does need work.
So hopefully season 4 gives him something good.
Yeah, I'm just very scared that he gets a lot of work done on him and then he's like really good. I want him to be very peculiar, very very delicate with the buffs that they're definitely gonna give him. Just so you know.
That's a good point. Next we have old man himself, Heihachi. Again, I don't use Mishima's, Spear does, so he will take the lead on this one as well.
Alright, so we went over the wave dash thing and its necessity to master machines. That aside, Heihachi, I would say, is regarded probably one of the better characters overall to use online. Reason being, his great gimmicks. Down forward 1+2 power crush.
Oh, down forward.
Yep, that is online Heihachi's bread and butter. His down back 2 spam. They love using that. And also his CD3 mix up. Forward 2 guaranteed after that. Or the mid option, that's still very damaging as well.
Jesus.
But Yeah, I mean, I think online he's really good, but at higher levels he's probably not the best, but I wouldn't say he's necessarily the worst. He has great mids, down forward 1, forward 4, down 1. Can you check real quick if forward 3's safe on top? Yep. Is up forward 3-4, good plus frame move. It is steppable, but no, that's why you throw it out with caution. In season 2, he was a monster with his electric combos. You know, he was the damage beast, but now everybody's a damage beast, so he's not that monster anymore. The only downside to him is I'd say, you know, if you want to launch punish with him, you gotta use the electric. Because he's kind of lacking in launch punishment otherwise. His 14 frame punish is down back 3-3. Or not down back 3-3, down back 3-3. That's his 14 frame punish. Which, you know, that's alright.
The range sucks.
Yeah, and it's a high. So don't throw that on the neutral. I mean, but you know, with his great mids comes shitty lows at high play. The only is down back 2, launch punishable on block, hell sweep, first hell sweep, launch punishable on block, second hell sweep, punishable. Or is it? I think it is at some ranges.
-10.
Then it's safe, but it's still not their turn. I mean, but you know, he is rewarded with high execution for his great comeback potential as well with his rage drive. I think if you have the rage drive available, you do his electric combo, you can get up to like 103 damage.
Jesus.
It's not Marta great, but it's good nonetheless. So I mean, I would say he's online. I'd say he's well-rounded for, you know, scrub play, and also, you know, his options. But at higher levels, definitely harder to use. Fighting
Where would
against
you
him
place
is
him?
also kind of I'd say he's well-rounded.
Yeah, online
Well,
definitely, because his pressure is really good. It's really scary, especially at the wall with forward 4 with this free wall splat.
Yeah,
Yes, 54
counter hit.
damage wall splat.
Yep. He has a great 13 frame punisher. I would do down 3 after forward 4 encounter. I think that's the most damage.
Down 3, that's what I was trying to figure out. Yeah, online especially, they're very aggressive. There's not a lot of defensive Heihachis that I've ever seen. All of them are basically spam friendly.
Yep.
So yeah, I would definitely put him a well-rounded just for that fact.